No, we're going to see it go to Shin Shibuya for all I care. Heart of Heaven, anything but museum, please.
All right, we're getting Diatonic out of here so we can start. The bro's full of bad ideas. Stop speaking that into existence. We are going to kick things off here on Celestial Husk, and neither team is going to go for letting the Gambit through this time around. And Rival Esports taking no risks, going straight for that Devil Dino that all 6 of them, or at least 5 of them, are very keen to play.
Keen to play and keen to put on a display here as we are zooming our way through the drafts right now. Rocket going to be banned out immediately with Gambit to follow. It's Double Dinosaur here on the Protects, and it will be a Rocket now facing off as well. So the mirrors are in full swing here.
See if either team wants to break the mirror. Both of them quickly hover the Phoenix Band and then lock it in. So we'll keep it going on through the back half, but this second Protect from Zero Tenacity should be what shapes things up for their team comp. Hopefully, you know, we don't get another situation where a team misses it. Nope. All right, we hitting the mark with this one. It's going to be the Luna Snow Protect, which most likely will force out a Mantis ban from Rival Esports, but they're hovering something different altogether. I think worried about the potentiality of a Star-Lord, and I think that's wise. It does feel like they're kind of targeting XC a fair bit, though.
Oh yeah, and I mean, there's a big reason for it. You know, XC is a hyper carry in every way, shape, and form for that team there. But I mean, it's not just the XC show. You got to worry about all the other pieces of that team as well. Like, they can do a lot of crazy work there if they are kept unchecked. But looks like we are going to see the Mantis now locked down for RVL. So very similar to the kind of pacing we saw from them early in the evening as well, where they like to prioritize that Mantis for themselves.
Something I do want to highlight, though, as you talk about, you know, all the different pieces of Zero Tenacity, there have been a couple of pieces that have been swapped in and out, and we've talked about it from time to time. Currently, Creative is in the lineup over Baser, and they have swapped Creative in or Baser in, depending on the situation, and it seems like the reason is that Creative has been the starter for this team, and Baser was brought in just as a bit of a stopgap while Creative was preoccupied with other responsibilities. I personally feel, and this is just my feelings, is that they look a little bit more well-practiced with Baser in the lineup, but when they have Creative, the language barrier isn't as harsh, and the comms are a little bit smoother. They've yet to be able to get the best of both worlds with either strategist in the lineup, so you kind of have to hope that they just ride it out and, you know, investing in Creative pays off. But I think that's where a lot of the inconsistencies with this team comes from, and I do think that that is something to pay attention to. How good is Creative going to look? How clean are the comms going to be? Are we going to see some of those inconsistencies from Zero Tenacity rear their ugly head? And if so, can Rival Esports capitalize?
Yeah, or are they just going to be kicking and screaming? You know, like we heard in our interview yesterday, with a couple of ways to navigate that barrier. Always love to see it there. You know, they've got to get creative in their approach. But that's going to be the exact thing we see right now from both of these teams as we prime up to the mission area on lock here. XC on the Punisher this time around to have a Zept on the Ultron. So, going to see if they can play into the triple ripple here and see who will be able to rip and tear their way in as the mission area is about to be open for business, and Zept is almost out of business, but they will be able to escape.
With most of XC's hero pool banned out, he's going to be manning the Punisher, already nearly forced out with the regen domain. Will keep him alive, and Windy with a nice little clap is going to put Spocky down another backline of Zero Tenacity. Need not worry about a Black Cat coming their way as Soko just runs over HK Mario like a semi-truck and turns that dinosaur into roadkill, and Zero Tenacity should be getting the first cap here.
Yeah, great first cap coming through from Z10 onto this one. RVL forced to fall back for the moment, but Marvel is looking to absolutely dominate the front side of things there. So Captain Korea is back on lock there, getting the double KO and looking to fall back to their team accordingly. So well done in the beginning there, and we'll be looking to maintain a deeper control.
And Nestor tried to go for a cheeky little back cap there, but has to abandon it. Gets out with a little bit of HP and will get healed back up. But now his ult start to come online. Zero Tenacity a little bit ahead of the curve in both the calling card and that final judgment. Gonna be the Rage of Ultron from Zeph that could potentially kick the door open, but if they don't find an Elim or force a major resource out with it, it just kind of is gonna end up going to the wayside. So all eyes right now on Zeph, and I think Soko would agree as he's looking for an opportunity to ground him with that laser beam. Jerry Jerry goes in and takes down Proxies, and with that one down, it doesn't really matter what Zeph does. He's gonna pop that Rage of Voltron anyway, send all those shots down Rage with a regen domain from Creative. No one from Zero Tenacity is even sweating.
Yeah, not even breaking a sweat here as they will push RVL with many regrets there. As the final judgment runs its course onto that one and will be able to shut down the triple. So well done, well played for Z10 there as they just calmly evacuate the mission area.
And with only 2 ultimates, the Freedom Charge and that final judgment. So now as Rival Esports are finally going to be mounting up to their big, heavy-hitting offensive ultimates, Zero Tenacity have the defensive utility to be able to parry it. And they also have to worry about Jerry, who's going to pop the calling card and go in aggressively, forcing out that Soul Resurgence. And Creative can go in with a dance floor. There is another back cap happening. This fight is happening on high ground. Zero Tenacity do send one member to go back and contest. Going to be Netron, a sliver of HP, able to get to a health pack, not cleaned up. A late Fadeable Worlds now coming out from Lick is going to force out the very same from Wendy, and it's all starting to break down on the point here, but 99% now for Zero Tenacity, and some assembly required as we get the Avengers all together. HK Mario will take down XC, but you got to trade out Proxies to make it happen. Can we find more? The regen domain will make it so much harder to do so, but HK Mario will get his man, will get Creative, but Jerry and Marvel, they come back in. The dive duo, they go in, even taken to the skies to take down Zeph, and as Spocky gets caught in an unfriendly neighborhood, Exy is gonna make him regret it, and this should be Rival Esports shunted from the point. Zero Tenacity taking 100-0 on the first point.
Yeah, absolutely. Steaming ahead of that one in very quick succession there. So, going to be a great beginning onto the Celestial Vault. It's wide open, and now we move on to the Celestial Codex to see if they might be able to decode it quickly or if there might be a little bit more time behind this one.
I mean, time, I think, is not something that Rival Esports are really looking at right now. I think they want to try and get this map win as quickly as they can, but with every point that Zero Tenacity amasses on this map or even the next one, the screws tighten a little bit more, the pressure builds up, and the room for mistakes widens for Rival Esports. They start to make some of these errors because they want to try and make a play happen. They do play pretty cleanly on that one, but they're just outpaced in the ult economy by Zero Tenacity and just the raw frag potential of Exy. On any hit scan, this guy is one of the best hit scans in the world. I'm telling you, and I'm gonna keep telling you until he shows up at an international LAN and shows everyone.
Yeah, they're looking to show it off in a big way there. You know, there's a reason that they're one of the star players behind that roster. They're looking to make many more star-studded moments there. But we move on to the next mission area right now, and Zeph is looking to pump up the damage early, see if they can charge themselves up to go legendary, but not going to get anything further as Z10 are doing a great job of isolating the angles, so not allowing any charge here. They're playing underground.
Rival do take the high ground though, but like you said, Zero Tenacity playing underground, so you don't really have an opportunity to leverage this this high ground for anything. You're gonna have to drop down to contest the point anyway, and that's where Zero Tenacity wants you. And they're gonna be coming up to some big ultimates here. Keep an eye on Exy's ult charge. He's nearing that final judgment, and if Rival Esports get caught in the crossfire of that one, they won't be in there for long, I can tell you that much. Wendy gonna take down HK Mario, and now there's nothing to absorb the damage that comes out from the side of Zero Tenacity. And Lick gonna trade it out for Jerry, and that does mean that the backline gets to sit a little bit more comfortably for the time being. And Exy taking down Netra. It's traded back and forth, but Zero Tenacity once again are in the driver's seat of this fight. And Zeph with a late Galactic Legend coming through, and a Freedom Charge and a Final Judgment, and Zeph is having none of it, just gonna hide, tuck his tail between his legs, and not exactly as legendary as I think Bro was hoping.
Yeah, no, the legend has been ended just as quick as it began there, so gonna be unfortunate for Zeph into that one, and see if they can look to run it back in a second here. As RVL now already going to be scouted out by Marvel and co there, shutting them down on the high ground. Zeph already taken out of the fight here, and more could follow up as well. Jerry in a bit of trouble, will be forced to stumble back, but Z10 is still staying calm and calculated, not looking to overdo it.
And Zeph is looking pretty shaky on the Star-Lord. Like, after that Galactic Legend and then getting caught out, like, I just think Bro is a little bit too scared of Exy, and he should be, but you also got to worry about Creative bursting down HK Mario, and Exy getting up close and personal with a triple with the shotguns. I mean, what do you even do about this guy? Whether it's at range or up close, Bro has got a bullet with your name on it.
Yeah, they're taking aims on that one and looking to get a few more where that came from. Maybe adding more trophies to the collection, if you will, as they will hold the things back from the high ground again. Got Soko bringing up the lasers up front, and to see if they can stampede their way forward in a second as well. Hold back on this one. In a waiter for the perfect moment here, but they won't even need it. Kumio unleashed, and now going to bring out the stampede. Devilbeast Rampage into the final judgment. They are looking to shred them away because everybody's in a straight line right now. The dance floor can only sustain them for so long as the XC Pain Trade brings out a quad KO and maybe one more to end the show. Marvel gets it, and Z10 lock them out entirely, but it's one last dance here. Portal time.
Yeah, but no real good ults. I mean, Double Beast Rampage from HK Mario, but she didn't bleed out any Strategist ults from the other side. Marvel just goes in, deletes HK Mario, so we're not even going to be seeing the Temper Tantrum moving out from the Devil Dinosaur, but we will see Soko chomping Netra down, chewing him up, and spitting him out, and Rival Esports quickly dispatched. Zeph wants to take to the skies, but this legend even more sad than the previous one. That legend ends not with a bang, but with a whimper, and Zero Tenacity will emphatically take Celestial Husk back-to-back 100-0s.
Yeah, just blown out like a candle right there. Well done to Z10 for starting off strong into that one. XC going to take a well-deserved MVP on the Punisher. When you think you can ban out a duelist, no you can't, because there's always an alternative option no matter what you think. XC's got something in the tank there, and going to be banking on that all the way through the series. Big shout out to Marvel, Soko, and Wendy as well. 0 casualties to their name across the entirety of that map.
16 final hits, though. Like, you ban out the Phoenix, you ban out the Star-Lord, it doesn't matter. He just comes out on the Punisher, and so much of that is with the shotgun damage. You know, Shotgun Punisher is a very underrated way to put a guy down, and XE was doing that in spades, finding quads, triples, you name it, and when not up close and personal, again, at range, he's keeping Zeft in check. Zeft really wanted to play into that Ultron, try and go for some damage boost, but doesn't matter, because XE doesn't need a damage boost. He just needs to hit a couple shots and make you play scared, and he can definitely put the fear of God into you, especially when he comes up with those final judgments. And all of Zero Tenacity, by the way, are able to play into it. You know, you even saw, like, Marvel popping a Freedom Charge just to give XE a red carpet, the royal treatment for what's to come.
Yeah, rolling out, and the XC comes rolling in with KO after KO. Like, it was just fantastic work coming through, and this one was incredible. All in a straight line, and they were ready to just absolutely destroy their way past it. So, fantastic work coming through on Celestial Husk there. They're feeling primed up and confident into this series.
Yeah, and for Rival Esports, like I said, with every single point that Zero Tenacity amasses, the screws tighten a little bit more. You gotta get a map win, and it wasn't that one. So we will see on the other side of this break what their map pick is, and if they can get that dub and punch their way to playoffs. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Well, open and shut there on map number 1 for Zero Tenacity. 0 to 200 with Rival Esports finding no way in the door. But CB, as they say, when one door closes, another one opens. Off to map 2. Is there a way for Rival to turn this thing around?
I mean, if you look at the scoreboard from the last map, it looks like no, but there's gotta be, right? Like, you've got to take it to a map that you're comfortable on, and you got to be able to best Zero Tenacity. But, I mean, the strategy to try and ban out Xy's hero pool did not work out, all right? We were talking about it. A grand total of 5 final hits for all of Rival Esports, and Xy alone tripled that with 16. It's absolutely ridiculous. So the strategy of trying to ban this one out, toss that out the window, and try and find something new.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a reason why Xy is such a big part of the foundation of this Zero Tenacity roster. And teams have learned the hard way several times in the past that it is so tough to ban him out. Matsy, what are you looking for out of Rival in this next draft phase? Because banning out the Duelist is not it, I don't think.
I'm looking for something. I'm looking for anything.
Hold on,
Hold
on, I'm looking at the match chat and Lick is typing. He's like, we need 1 map, guys, and Jerry just typed my bank account. Jerry's saying, you want this map? Pay up, buddy.
Oh, that's funny.
I'll say drop the cash
RVL.
app in the chat here, but here it is. We are speeding towards maybe, you know, I've got a little bit of Professor X in me here, just a little bit of a foresight. We are going to the Museum of Contemplation yet again, the pack special here for map number 2. That's the question, though. Is it possible to take Z10 down on this map, considering everyone here in Pacific is very familiar, like the back of their hand with this one?
Does anyone know offhand, like, what maps Zero Tenacity have lost in some of their other series? Like, what map did N1 Hex beat them on? Because if it was Museum of Contemplation, then, you know, wherever it is, we've proven in the past that Zero Tenacity can bleed, and Rival Esports just need to strike that 1 drop of blood somewhere. But if it wasn't spilled on Museum of Contemplation last time, then this might be, you know, again, just a Hail Mary comfort pick for Rival Esports, trying to go with something that they're well practiced on.
Well, lucky for you, CB, I have the answer. That matchup between N1 Hex and Zero Tenacity, the map they dropped, Museum of Contemplation. So Rival did their homework here. They see the vision, but that's the question is, can they deliver like N1 Hex did? We've seen it before. They got to answer that question right here and right now.
Right here, right now, the answers will be afforded to them, and we'll see if they can lock it in to this one, you know, whether it is going to be RVL looking to climb out of hell here and move it into heaven, or whether it will be Z10 coming out on top and sending them down to the depths. It's all or nothing on what could be our final map in group stage here.
Yeah, very, very much so. If you haven't heard the bells toll yet, they do toll now for Rivals' playoff hopes here. Heaven or hell is the question going forward. You have to imagine N1 Hex as well on the edge of their seats here, because Rival, if they take this map, they knock out N1 Hex. If they can't do it, then N1 Hex grabs that last spot.
And just like you said, it's a map that Zero Tenacity have lost before, so Rival Esports will have the ghosts of Zero Tenacity's failures haunting these halls on their side, and hopefully that's enough to give them an advantage. And like you said, N1 Hex gonna be watching with bated breath, hoping, praying, wishing that Zero Tenacity can overcome that this time around and buy N1 Hex away into the playoffs. But as Rival Esports try to chunk through this ban phase, set themselves up for success, we've already established that banning out Xy's hero pool is not enough. You have to find something else, and this is the place to do it.
Exactly right. This is the place to do it, and let's see if they break through it now, as the mirror will be back on full effect here, so no gambits, no rockets, plenty of dinos, and could see the Phoenix taken away in a second here as well. Yep, it's going to be full mirrors all day.
Well, do we see the same as before? A Mantis Protect this time for Rival Esports, and I think, you know, that does kind of signal they want to go a little bit more for that triple strategist look. If you're Zero Tenacity, you're probably going to ban out something like the Loki to shut down the Vibrant Vitality, or potentially the Luna Snow. It's going to be the Vibrant Vitality that gets shut down. They can still leverage 2/3 of that combination with the Groot, as that's going to make it through, but we'll see what they end up coming out here with Zero Tenacity. They prefer the Luna Snow flavor when it comes to the backline, though.
Be preferring a little bit more of that one to have at least the Mantis locked in again for RVL here, and we'll be looking to lock down maybe the Black Cat. They're thinking about it. Oh, it's going to be no Mantis, no worries there. So everything going to be locked down and locked in, folks, and we'll see our selections break their way through.
Rival Esports going to be first on the defensive side, and they need to stand their ground. They can't give Zero Tenacity that first cap. They definitely can't let them get a full cap. I think anything shy of that 3rd-point cap is winnable for Rival Esports, but if this gets out of control, I kind of worry that Zero Tenacity might be able to run away with this, because this pick and ban draft, it looks pretty good for Z10, especially considering if you can't ban out Exy's hero pool, he's got access to the Star-Lord, and he was already hovering that frame 1. You know for a fact he's going to be coming out with that. Sure, you can bring your Devil Dinosaur. Exy's just going to farm it for damage.
Oh, yeah. They'll be farming it all day long there. So, very keen to see how things play out as we get started on into this here map here. Both teams are looking to just prepare themselves for battle. Looks like Zeft is taking a play out of Xy's book there. You know, they've got the Punisher this time around on the defense, and very keen to see if it works out for them. Will it? I'm not so certain, but anything can happen. You just got to believe in yourself.
Rival Esports leveraging, leaning very heavily on that triple strategist for the defensive, but without the Loki there, it's going to be Invis, Luna, and Mantis, and that's going to be a lot of healing and crucially a fair bit of damage boost as well for Zeft and for Proxy, so I think they do have the damage to keep things going on the front line, but it's if Xy gets access to the back line, things are getting a little bit worrisome, but no sweat just yet as they do trade out Zeft for Soko, but you will take that because you do still have enough damage to keep this fight going. Netra, though, getting caught out and nearly kidnapped there from Creative as the orbs keep coming in. Zero Tenacity not able to find that second KO to get the Batmobile around this first corner. And Rival Esports can stand their ground for the time being and buy Zep time to get back into the fray.
Back into the fray and ready to play here. The damage gets layered up by Creative and Co. But not looking to stop the shot just yet. We'll be waiting around the corner here, playing around the barriers accordingly. Good to try and push them in, but to be able to spin it into traction yet. Xy almost on the way out, still going to break back in with the heels there, so good for it. But Jerry now ready on the flank and banking on it. Not locking it in for now, but they will lock it in for 2 in a second. And looking to see if they can catch any more in just a moment. There it is, the triple effect.
Yeah, and that's going to be a team wipe, and Zep is going to make the swap over onto the Doctor Strange. There's a little bit of room to try and go for the contest here, but Zero Tenacity, they know it. They're already just fanning out, trying to scout out where that portal is going to come from. No guesswork needed. It's going to come right onto the point. There's going to be an invisible boundary as well, so sending out a signal flare. You know exactly where we're coming from. Marvel, though, taking down Lick, drops the invisible boundary, and even through the Soul Resurgence, Zero Tenacity just burst Rival Esports down and kick the door to point B wide open.
Yeah, open wide, and they'll stroll inside there, looking to play around it accordingly and to give the best that they can. So, Z10 waiting patiently, looking to scout into this one. Do have the Galactic Legend at the ready if they need a little pump of action just to get themselves over the next checkpoint. They're still just going to be waiting for it. I love this. They're always scouting for the next fight here.
Yeah, and they are going to find it. They don't got to search too hard. Jerry goes in deep and takes down Proxy's Lick on a sliver of HP, and Jerry will clean that up. Xy taken to the skies with the Galactic Legend, but it doesn't matter because the ground is where the problem is, as Jerry is still on the prowl. They'll find a triple, and HK Mario getting caught out in an unfamiliar location in between Soko and Creative, and it's going to be another easy fight win for Zero Tenacity, and Rival Esports getting staggered out. Even Netra on a sliver of HP will be healed back up, but this is a rough recontest.
Yeah, it's the roughest time for them, and I don't know if there's going to be any way through as the Psionic Seduction comes out from Netra there, and it's going to be combined with the Final Judgment now. Xy going down, a good start, and they won't catch Jerry, so Jerry could actually be merry and play into this one accordingly. Oh, well, there you go, Stevie. They heard you eventually. It was a delayed communication.
Yeah, never mind. Jerry just throws himself in the wood chipper, but turns out they don't even need it. Even through that Fate of Both Worlds, Marvel is able to find Spocky, so like the damage from Zero Tenacity is just too overwhelming even for these Strategist ultimates, but Zeph now with the shotgun is going to put Soko down, and This will be Rival Esports finally putting their foot down, stopping this cap from coming through, but Jerry with a calling card is going to try and push it even further, force Rival Esports to make a mistake, and they are making a huge mistake if they think they can tango with him, as he is just raking the claws through, takes down Zep, takes down Proxies, will find a triple. HK Mario brings him to justice, but in no just world can Jerry be allowed to get away with that, and in this world, Zero Tenacity will find point B.
Find it and find maybe a little more where that came from. As they force them out as much as they possibly can. Here's Heft in deep trouble as Marvel is on deck here, fighting through with Jerry and Co. There's nowhere you look where Z10 are not covering right now. Lick going to be staggered out as well. Unlucky into that one. Face to face with Exy there, and they know the KO is going to be right to follow. But they're not going to wallow on it. They're looking to push this the full distance as quick as they can.
Rival Esports might have a spawn advantage here that they can leverage. They'll take down Jerry, and that'll give them an opportunity to move a little bit further up and try and go for a recontest. But the key thing about this point, right, is that Zero Tenacity, even if they're just playing the cart, they're going to have a permanent high ground advantage over Rival Esports, and that makes it so much harder for Zep to hit these shots on the Punisher. So you're going to be looking for them to try and find a way in without just raw damage that comes out, because you can't rely on those picks, especially once Zero Tenacity start mashing Q.
Start mashing Q and see if they can pull through here, as they will be able to lock down the double strategist ultimate. Z10 really confident to play into the Kubio Unleashed and the dance floor there. Interesting to see that one coming in, right, CB?
I mean, it's pretty interesting to see a little bit of a layering coming out from Zero Tenacity. Rival Esports are going to come out with a Fate of Both Worlds advantage for this next fight, and off of that final judgment, Zeft is able to get just enough done to keep Rival Esports in this one, and winning that fight is crucial because now you are in control, but Exy is going to wrest that control right away from you. 97%, and Proxies can't get the ultimate, and that is a meal for Jerry now, and he is going to go in and have a snack. He'll take a triple and then a double for Exy, and every advantage Rival Esports had, Exy just robbed them of.
Yeah, we'll be able to take it out of this one, and we'll be looking to rob them away from any semblance of hope here as Jerry brings out the calling card. Psionic Seduction to try and force them out of place, and Proxies, okay, we'll collapse them out of this place. Nicely done from our former duelist player here as they lay it on thick and look to see how they can tandem with Marvel, forcing out the dance floor into this one and looking to just drown out the time as much as they possibly can.
And hold on to the Devil Beast Rampage. Zero Tenacity are going to respect the healing that comes through, but no respect shown as Exy just deletes Spocky. It's going to be traded out for Soko, and a lot of the staying power for Zero Tenacity is gone, but not enough to remove Exy, and HK Mario taking down Jerry. Doesn't matter. Exy is still lodged in that side angle there, going to rejoin the rest of his team as they slowly backpedal, but so much damage onto HK Mario that he can only charge so far forward past the point. Zero Tenacity going to be able to regroup and take another crack at this.
Looking to have another attempt at this one as RVL there done a great job to drown out the clock as much as they can into this one, but Z10 are just on the edge of having an overwhelming force of ults at their disposal, which could be exactly what they need to push it over the line here. Big pressure going to be on Zept and Code here to stop them in their tracks, and it looks like they go first into this one. Devil Beast Rampage on lock will shut down Soko there, stampeding their way through Creative. Maybe soon to follow. Kumio Unleashed is still sustaining. Will go down eventually, and there it is. Final judgment now, looking to force them off the line on this one, so it's good to buy a bit more time, maybe even get more with the KOs being locked through for RVL here, but Z10, they're not worried. They've still got a bit more time to try and fight this one.
37 seconds left. They can take one more fight on this. There might be a stagger that comes out. HK Mario is going to be forced back. Yeah, they couldn't quite get Exy. A lot of ults coming online for Zero Tenacity, and only an invisible boundary, potentially a soul resurgence to try and weather the storm. It's the strategist ults versus the duelist ults, a tale as old as time. Zero Tenacity going to be looking to try and take the initiative, force Rival Esports onto the back foot, see if they can get this full cap from coming. Rival Esports, HK Mario is taking so much damage right now from Wendy, just in neutral right now, and not flinching, is going to stand his ground, knows he's got the team at his back, can keep this one going, but More damage being pumped in. Devil Beast Rampage from Soko gets canceled. Zep goes in and just deletes Creative with a shotgun shots. It's just too much to bear. Soul Resurgence versus Fate of Both Worlds, but the damage is just too much. HK Mario will take Soko down, and the calling card from Jerry canceled. Zep is not going to be calling. He's got your number, and he's got it on speed dial. And the only number that matters is 2, because that's the only number of points Zero Tenacity walk away with. Rival Esports deny the full cap. They stand their ground.
They stand their ground and stand tall. Just when you think RVL will fall down, they say, no! We are still in this, and we are going to hold it down on the defense. So, they need any confidence boosters they can get, and that's going to be one hell of a booster, CB. So you love to see it for RVL, but now, Zero Tenacity on the defense could spell a lot of trouble.
There is still a clear finish line, though, now for Rival Esports. They reach it, that's playoffs right there. All they gotta do is get the cart to that checkpoint, and they had control. They set exactly where it is. There's gonna be no extra innings, no additional tasks piled on top of it. They just have to reach the finish line. Do they have what it takes left in the tank to do just that, or are the lights too bright, Matt?
Get ready.
They might be caught by all of the lights there. You know, I think that maybe looking to evade into the shadows on this one. We'll see how they rattle themselves up, though, in the last moments of preparation here. As a Marvel going to be ready and waiting on that penny there, putting the mines down, ready to stop them in their tracks there. Zepta playing into the Daredevil this time. You'll love to see the change up, but I lied. They're back on Primal Judgment. They love to play around with us, don't they, CB?
You love to see the change up as he changes it up and swaps back over onto the, like you said, the Primal Punishment. A good old team up that I'm not sure why the Devil Dinosaur and the Punisher get to team up together, but it's fun, it's whimsical, it's interesting. And Jerry is having none of it, so he'll take Zeph down with a swift little rake of the claws into the back line. Even gonna throw up the Flame Orb. Now knows where Rival is playing as if there were any secrets, but can see him through walls, pick his spots, look for a chance to isolate a backline, or either that or split Detra off from said backline. Neither is going to happen just yet, but for Rival Esports, every second that passes is one that you cannot afford, and Zero Tenacity know it.
Oh, yeah, they have full awareness of the situation right now, and they are looking to do everything they can to just push them out of this endeavor. And it's going to be good webs coming out from Marvel as well. They're looking to lock them in place here and not allow them to even consider trying to run around the back there for a flank. But it's Proxies to open up the KO feed there. Soko down. They trade it out immediately, but Zep locks it in. A pristine aim, and they take aim at more distance on this mission vehicle. And they are looking to clear them out as quick as they can.
It would have been nice if they could have gotten a couple more elims, though, but they'll be fine with that. That first one from Proxies, and then one there onto Jerry trying to clear out that back line. They trade out Proxies for it, but he'll be back into the fight before long. In fact, he's already there and got a Snowflake for Zeph to amplify this Punisher damage. And without Marvel being set up, Exy has to try and make some space. Galactic Legend comes out. He just Thanos snapped Proxies out of existence. Invisible boundary from Lick to keep the rest of the team alive, and now the Final Judgment hoping to ground Exy, and will do just that. A modern-day Icarus. He crashes back down to Earth, but Zero Tenacity are not ready to give this one up just yet. Even through that Fate of Both Worlds, though, HK Mario is just going to stop right on through, take down Marvel mid-Spider Sweeper, and speaking of sweeping, Zeph with the shotties is sweeping Zero Tenacity under the rug, and Rival Esports setting a good pace. 4.5 minutes, they unlock point B, and ever so closer does that checkpoint feel.
Ooh, getting closer and closer to this one, but this is only the first hurdle here. They've got still a couple more they need to speed past onto this one. See if they can do it, if they can blast their way in now. Soko on the edge of the Psionic Seduction here could be exactly what they need, or maybe Jerry playing into the calling card here. Lick, though, facing a bit of punishment in the back line there. Desperately needs some sustainability if they want to keep themselves in the fight. And Marvel wanting the same, as getting a lot of damage being afforded to them right now. But not going to stop RVL from pushing the back bus right now. They're looking pretty good.
RVL being very careful not to overextend, but Exy has an opening and will take down Spocky. It's traded out for Jerry, but I think you will take that if you're Rival Esports. You've alleviated a fair bit of the pressure, but down as strategist, the healing just isn't what you need right now. And Zero Tenacity going to invest the Kumiho Unleashed. HK Mario going to be the last one to fall for his team, and there's going to be a quick reset coming out for Rival.
Yeah, going to be a quick reset there, and regret. Z10 are going to be just looking to hold a position onto this one. See if they can stop RVL from trying to reclaim some distance onto the mission vehicle right now. They will play lines aside, play the angles here. If they look to push into that KO box, they're going to be in deep trouble. And that trouble might be looking to push straight towards them as Soko still holds from a distance. Psionic Seduction now coming out from Netra. And they're looking to fall back accordingly.
Double Beast Rampage coming out from HK Mario as well, but I think he thought there was going to be more people there, but it's only a Carbon Crush and a little bit of Dino Flipping waiting for him on the other side. Not going to be enough to take him down, though, as there is still enough healing and enough utility for the side of Rival Esports. They seemingly caught Jerry out all alone, and they will be having that. HK Mario swallows him whole, and his tummy is not quite sated yet. He has more in his sights. He is still hungry. He wants to chomp down on somebody else, but a Psionic Seduction now going to come out. Final Judgment now from Z10. He's going to be able to put the damage down to punish it. Not with the Fate of Both Worlds. They're definitely not going to be able to burst through all of that. Feast the Abyss now from Marvel, and with a nice little charm thrown in there from Creative, they'll take down Zeft. The invisible boundary coming out from Lick. It's a little bit late to save him, and there's not really a whole lot of stopping power now for Rival Esports. So now Exy will take to the skies, Galactic Legend, and nobody is going to be riding the Legend but Exy. A double KO for him, a pesky barrier in his way, but he'll charge right through it to get the triple, take down Lick, and only 2 minutes left for Rival Esports to reevaluate.
Well done from Z10 there. They will send them back in all over again here, gaining pace and stopping them in space here. RVL, they've still got some time afforded to them, but they need to desperately charge themselves up to have the right utility at their disposal here, because otherwise they're just going to get left behind onto this one. Jerry and Co, all the same, you know, they're ready to take aim at more fights here. They're scouting things out with the Flame Orb, and they're ready to divide them up accordingly.
Jerry going to go in and might be able to find one onto Spocky. Soul Resurgence is going to keep him alive, and Zeft is going to put down Marvel. That is a good start now for Rival Esports, and they're going to stomp forward with that Soul Resurgence, but they walk right into a Kumiho from Creative. They'll be able to burst it down and force him back to a lowly human White Fox form, but now Jerry going to pop the calling card, and Exy has the pinch set up. An easy KO for him. It's traded out for Jerry, so the calling card shut down, and Rival Esports still have a slight man advantage, but it is only ever so slight, and Zero Tenacity will respect it. Retreat back over to the cart and play for cover. Rival Esports coming up on a fair bit of ultimates to push this the rest of the way forward. Both Vanguard ultimates and a Final Judgment, the latter of which is coming out to play right now. Zef says he wants to be judge, jury, and executioner, and he judges Zero Tenacity guilty of standing in his way, but HK Mario stood in the wrong spot, got cleaned up there by Jerry, is traded out for Marvel, but a late Fate of Both Worlds from Wendy means Zero Tenacity are still in this fight, and Rival Esports may seemingly be out of it. They are going to take their lead for the time being. 30 seconds left.
Not much time here. Pressure going to be on Netra and Co to try and turn the pace of this one as they hold a position ready to play for the OT plays. F trying to lock down the KO. They succeed. Wendy is down. Trading out Psionic Seduction for Psionic Seduction. Now the boundary's up as well. Everything looking good for Z10, you'd think, but no. RVL are ready to play here, but it's Galactic Legend time coming out from Exy. Going to be able to shut down Link. Looking to see if they can catch anyone else around the back there, forcing out the dance floor from Proxies and looking to dial it back in. The portal was perfect from Z10 onto this one. Creative at the ready with a Kumio unleashed as well. They are ready to send them home out of this one as they will lock in KO for KO in the OT segment. Spocky desperately fighting to keep their team's hopes and dreams alive. Lick doing the best they can, but it's just not enough. Z10 say your tournament is done. You are going home, and Z10 lock it in.
The lights got too bright for Rival Esports, and their visions now of making it to playoffs have gone dark, courtesy of Zero Tenacity. And it was just utter dominance from top to bottom. They gave up point A quite swiftly, but point B, they came to play, and they came correct. And Creative, a large part of the reason why this team right now with this lineup firing on all cylinders and showing us exactly why he was the guy, why this lineup are the way that they are. And as much as we hype him up and as much as we've hyped up Exy, 22 final hits for Jerry, running amok on the Black Cat in the back line. And try as they might, Proxies and Lick just didn't have the staying power. They just couldn't hang when Jerry came to play.
Yeah, when Jerry came to play, you know that it was the end of the day there. just doing absolute incredible work for their team. But I got to put the highlight on Zeft as well, you know, managing to find a lot of impact for their team when it mattered. There's a big reason that they hit the SVP onto that one. So very impressed with how they managed to hold it together when it mattered there. But got to give a big shout out to Proxies as well. I saw some of those impressive freezes. I knew what your game was. So great to see some impact across the board there.
As great as it is to see, though, Matt, unfortunately, it will be the last that we see of Rival Esports here in Stage 1, as they are going to be forced to take their leave. We've run the numbers, we've crunched it, we've done every scenario. N1 Hex will now be going to playoffs in Rival Esports' stead, and Zero Tenacity, I mean, they got to be the great deciders, and on this day, they decided no one was going to test them. They were not going to be bested. They have no equal.
Yeah, they've absolutely proven themselves here and now, and unfortunately, that is the end of the road for RVL into that one. So, albeit an impressive showing, you know, they had a good defense. Z10 were able to get it over the line when it mattered, and you can see the showcase of some of those crucial moments on this map right now. It's the Cherry Show through and through on that Black Cat.
Yeah, I mean, like triple KOs, quadra KOs, and like even if you're not getting the elims on the Black Cat, you have to turn so much attention to try and deal with someone who is a big of a threat as Jerry was on this map that it's just so difficult, right? Like you can't maintain a front line and a back line when your back line is constantly under siege. And it doesn't matter like what the front line looks like for Zero Tenacity, whether it was Marvel on that Venom or you know Double Dino, Captain America, doesn't matter, Captain Korea, what have you. It doesn't matter because Marvel is always going to be there to help out Jerry, and that's just the mark of a well-practiced team. Dive takes practice, it takes coordination, it takes skill. It's very difficult, but a good dive team will almost always beat a good front-to-back team. And even though Rival looked good today, Zero Tenacity just looked better.
Well, what a final showdown here in the group stage. Massive respect to Rival Esports for putting up such a fight there on Museum of Contemplation. I could not believe the timing on that last fate of both worlds there, just to keep them alive for just that little bit longer. Not enough to overcome in the end, but of course, Zero Tenacity take the day here, and we've got a member of the team on the line here. Gonna get some last questions in before we wrap up this group stage and look towards playoffs. Z10, are you out there somewhere? Hello.
Hello.
The GOAT is back. Oni, welcome back to the show, my friend. 2 days in a row, and what a final match for you guys. How are you feeling over there?
Feeling pretty good, you know. It's been a long group stage, but finally it's over. We get a little bit of a break, but you know, back into the action real soon as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a complete reset for you guys, as we're going to be on a new patch as well. You guys are looking to shake off some of the inconsistencies that you've had in this group stage and come, you know, full force for playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned yesterday as well, like there are a few things that we just need to iron out, and I mean, we've more than truly identified what we need to be working on to carry on in towards the playoffs, and I feel like we're, you know, more than well on our way to rectifying these issues and kind of building upon what we already have. So yeah, I'm more than confident that that the team's really well set up to take playoffs head on.
I also saw in the pre-match chat, by the way, that Lick from Rival Esports was saying we need this map, guys, and Jerry was like, my bank account. I take it the check bounced. Is that correct?
Well, actually, funny you say that, because I did have a chat with Lick earlier the day as well, and I didn't know what was happening down towards the bottom, but he did message me and said, yeah, we need one map off for you guys to win. It's a little awkward in that situation, but you know, I wish them the best of luck. But yeah, I mean, they really did give it a really, really good shot, and you know, that's not to say that the other teams didn't. You know, making it to Ignite is already a challenge in itself. So you know, big congrats and big well done to all the teams that have participated here as well.
Love to hear it, and Mr. Oni, I've been expecting
Yes, Mr. Matsy. Oh, have you now? I've been waiting for this exact moment, Mr. Matt. You don't know how much I've been waiting for this exact moment, Mr. Matt. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too, my brother. It's a pleasure to have you on the board.
To kind of leave, like, is this gonna get uncomfortable?
There's no beef. It's all love between us,
Yep.
CB. Don't you worry. But no, Oni, so looking towards the playoffs, you know, you've said that the team's trying to focus up on the fundamentals and, you know, really lock things in. Like, where do you expect your team to place throughout the playoffs?
Oh, that's a really good question. You know, I have been known to curse here and there in terms of the things that I say, the predictions that I make. So, you know, I don't want to jump the gun a little bit here, but, you know, our ideal goal is to make it to mid-season finals. That would kind of be, I guess, a cherry on top for our kind of journey up until now. So I'd say that, you know, like I mentioned before, you know, we're rectifying our issues and we're just building upon them. So I'd say we have a very, very fair shot at making it to, I'd say, at least the top 2. You know, there's still teams out there that are definitely on our radar. You know, looking at you, Reject and Gen G, we are coming for you, and we're more than ready to take you guys head on. But yeah, I'd say, you know, we have a very fair shot of making it into the top 2.
So I'm not gonna ask will you, because I think that does kind of open the door for you to curse, but don't want that. But speaking of Reject and Gen G, do you think, do you believe, do you feel that they are beatable?
I mean, you know, we've
I don't like that. I don't like that hesitation. You thought about that too long.
I mean, you know, our recent performance might not kind of live up to our expectations, but, you know, they are mortal. You know, we have seen times in scrims where we have seen their weaknesses, where we have identified things that we could exploit to kind of break them down. And, you know, I feel like, you know, people say that Reject and Gen G are like gods, but, you know, every god does have their weakness. Like, for example, take Achilles. You know, his heal is a weakness. And, you know, every one of these teams, you know, how small it may be, will have a weakness somewhere. It's just a matter of kind of getting ourselves cool, calm, and collected, getting our strats in order, just getting our mental in order as well. It's a pretty important aspect that we do like to focus on as well, to try and pinpoint exactly where the critical point is to bring them down as well. They are mortal. It's going to be tough, but they can be defeated, in my opinion.
Yeah, very insightful. And I know that Z10, of course, has some secret weapons in the bank. I notice the cookies are no longer present in the background. Maybe used as fuel. Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe I spoke too soon. The box is open, though. I have to imagine there was some snacking on that Museum of Contemplation run, but I have heard the cookies are the secret weapon here, or the missing variable.
Yeah, I guess this open box is like a metaphor. You know, Pandora's box. It's been blown wide open. So get ready for the playoffs. Get ready for the playoffs. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say for now.
Fair enough. I mean, I guess last thing I'll ask, you know, kind of looking ahead, you know, when we come back for playoffs, it's going to be a different game state here, a whole new ball game, some changes in store for us for sure. You know, without revealing too much, I don't want you to open the playbook here right on the air, but I'm curious kind of what's the approach to a new meta or to a new patch for you guys? How do you go about learning and kind of figuring out what kind of game plans you want to try to put together?
Well, I mean, yeah, it was a bit of a surprise that the playoffs would be played on a completely different patch. But, you know, we always welcome every new change. We always welcome challenge. So I think kind of we'll continue on this trend where, you know, we let the players free a little bit, play a little bit of rank to kind of get themselves acclimated to the new patch as well. Of course, we've got a new hero coming out as well, so that should be an interesting shake-up in the meta potentially. But yeah, if we just kind of let the players kind of expose themselves to the new patch, see how it feels, and then we kind of circle back and then take that into scrims, because, you know, ranked scrims are an entirely different ball game. But having the initial exposure to how the new patch feels will always lend itself better when we go into the scrims, where, you know, going into it a little bit raw, a little bit new, may be of a disadvantage to us. So just exposure therapy, if you will. I guess is the simplest way to put it.
Yeah, makes sense. Got to get those reps in for sure. Oni, congrats to you guys here on the group stage. Looking forward to seeing you back in action and filling in some of those dream matches for us. Best of luck, and we can't wait to see you back.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here. And Mr. Matt, I'll see you again sometime soon.
You sure will.